Welcome back, everyone, to the fifth and final module for this course. This module is going to be a combination of both theoretical and practical concepts that will aid in our ultimate development as traders. Now that we have a solid foundation for analysis, planning, and trade execution, it's time to kick things up a notch and work on becoming the best trader we can be. So let's jump right in. First, I want to take a deep dive into how we find and craft our edges as traders. Well, let's define what an edge is first of all. An edge is essentially a trader's ability to outsmart the market to consistently generate returns. There's that word again, consistently. Remember, we don't want to just get lucky every now and then. We want to become full-time profitable traders. And in order to do so, we'll need to craft an edge that works frequently enough to suit our risk tolerance. Now, let's move on to the next point. How do we craft an edge? Well, an edge is crafted over time through both personal experience and the experimentation of various trading techniques. Some of you may find other professional traders throughout your journey whose approach resonates with you. By using parts of their system or strategy, you might come across your own conclusions that actually end up becoming your edge. The important thing to note here is that edges aren't found arbitrarily. They come from frequent experimentation and vigorous journal review. We can't hope to craft an edge by taking random trades day after day. We need to learn what ties our winning trades together. Is there an edge in those discretionary structures we trade, or the technical indicators we use? Lastly, it's important to remember that edges are usually finite. They require frequent iteration and improvement in order to maintain. On the other hand, systems, as we know, are static. Their parameters shouldn't change with the market. We may use multiple systems within a market pair, depending on the conditions presented, but we should always trust our system in the conditions it works best in. Now, before we go on to what it takes to become the best trader we can be, I want to leave you with 2 points to consider. Most edges will fall into one of two categories. They will either be a discretionary edge, an approach based on observation, or a systemic edge, parameters based on experimentation. Now, an example of a discretionary edge might be the occurrence of CME gap fills on the Bitcoin futures instrument. Observation of these gap creations and subsequent fills might lead you to create a strategy entirely based around them. On the other hand, a systemic edge can relate to how we size our positions via the modified Kelly criterion with the implementation of Pareto's principle. Remember, the systemic sizing of various trades based on their win rate and R multiple help us craft an edge in our P&L. We maximize our winners and minimize our losers. That is a systemic edge that can lead us to be profitable year after year. Now, that should be enough to get you thinking. What does your edge look like? Think about that as you continue on your path to becoming a successful trader. Now, I want to switch gears a bit and talk about how we can better ourselves as traders. I want to discuss how we go about developing a trader's mindset. It's key that we understand that traders need to perform at the same level as professional athletes. The only difference is that we don't have any fans, and the only stadium we play in are the financial markets we are trading. Remember, trading is a solo sport, so we're going to need to work on the following aspects in order to maximize our performance. First, we're going to need to form strong routines and habits. Trading is an extension of your daily routine. If you're young and always out partying until the late hours, waking up hungover, and then attempting to sit behind the chart and make real money, you're in for a rude awakening, my friend. Next is work-life balance. Maybe you're the workaholic type who has no problem being glued to the screens from morning till night, and that's fine. But if you forgo the balance aspect and don't learn to separate work from home, you're eventually going to burn out. Trading is a marathon, not a sprint. You can't consistently perform at your best by sprinting the first 100 meters of a race. Lastly, you're going to need to be disciplined. If you struggle to be disciplined with bad habits such as poor diet, smoking, or other addictions, you're going to be much more likely to fail and stray from your trading system and plan. Discipline is ultimately going to affect your long-term profitability. Are you going to play this game for a few weeks, or are you going to make a career out of it? Discipline helps guide that outcome. So let's jump into routines for a minute. There are 3 key routines I feel you should develop if you want to become a successful trader. The first is screen time. Screen time is the #1 way you're going to improve as a trader. We can teach you all the material in the world, but remember, practice and experience is the only way we can master any new skill. Screen time is essentially time you take each day to watch the market and how it moves. Now, whether you watch lower time frames, higher time frames, or a combination of the two, that will be up to you and based on your trading style as well as your execution time frame. There is no right or wrong when putting in screen time, but just note that in order to master any skill, they say it takes about 10,000 hours of practice. Trading is a journey, so it's best we start putting in those hours every day, just observing the markets we want to trade and getting a sense for how they move. We'll start to see repeating structures, observe their formation and resolution, and draw our own conclusions. Maybe we start watching certain indicators and their parameters, noticing similarities before certain outcomes. This is the essence of screen time. Next, let's talk about physical health. As traders, we likely have a home office or computer desk that we hunch over for hours on end, which can kill our back posture. That is unfortunately just part of the territory. But that doesn't mean we can't take steps to ensure we are physically healthy. Remember, we're essentially professional athletes fighting other traders and algorithms in the zero-sum game we call trading. We want to stay physically healthy so we can perform at our best, day in and day out. This is where walks or even stretching comes in handy. Simply taking a 5 to 10 minute break, walking outside and getting fresh air can recharge our batteries as well as wipe our subjective biases on the market. I personally am a big believer in weightlifting as a form of exercise. I have seen direct correlations between my ability to stay physically fit and my performance in the markets. When I'm sluggish in one area, I tend to be sluggish in others as well. Trading is no exception. Lastly, I really want to touch on meditation. I have found this to be an essential part of my morning routine when trading. As a discretionary trader, I can easily get swept up in market volatility or noise. Meditation helps keep me grounded and puts me in a state of clarity every morning before I tackle the charts. This creates an atmosphere of objectivity that allows me to analyze the markets at my best and make sound decisions that most can struggle with based on their emotional state. Now, depending on your trading hours, you may do this once per day or multiple, in the morning or the evening, or maybe both. It's completely up to you, but I can't stress enough how helpful it's been to my daily routine. Next, let's touch on work-life balance for a minute. Now, it's key that we identify outlets for the inevitable stress that comes with trading. Whether you trade using a discretionary system or a technical one, humans are sometimes prone to losing emotional control during a drawdown period. This is why it's key that we have a way of de-stressing and removing ourselves from the market so we can come back refreshed later in the day or maybe the next day altogether. Personally, I am an avid video gamer and like to play games while I let price action develop or after a series of losses. It helps me from overthinking the session's outcomes and engaging in revenge trading. Regardless of how you like to de-stress, just make sure it's away from the computer. Now, here's where I also want to talk about the rules of engagement. This is likely already a part of your trading plan, but it's key that you outline strict guidelines for both screen time and actual trading. You may want to exclusively trade the market for a certain amount of hours in the morning, and then sit back and observe it for a certain amount of hours at night. Screen time and trading hours should be clearly set. If you tell yourself you stop watching the market at 9 p.m., then you stop watching the market at 9 p.m. regardless of what's happening. Especially in crypto, where the markets are 24/7, it's easy to be swept up into the fray. By setting clear rules, we will help separate work from home and keep our significant others happy as well. Now, the last aspect I want to discuss is discipline. It should be self-explanatory by now, but discipline is essential as traders. We need to be accountable for everything we do, from our trading system to our trading plan to the rules we set for ourselves on a daily basis. By being disciplined, we are able to be objectively open and improve as traders every single day. Make sure you stick to your routines. If you're journaling properly, you'll quickly notice the relationship between skimping on your routines and your actual trading performance. Remember, we are professional athletes, paying ourselves through our engagement with the financial markets. Put the odds in your favor and take care of yourselves. Ultimately, successful traders have complete emotional control. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. It comes with experience and discipline. While a technical trader usually has set parameters they will not budge on, discretionary ones are much more likely to fall prey to emotional biases. We need to practice control perfectly. What I mean by this is if you lose 5 trades in a row, don't start revenge trading your account and lose even more. Cut your losses, move away from the charts, and go de-stress. Trading is tough enough as it is. By eliminating our own personal pitfalls, we are one step further to becoming successful, consistent traders. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through the ultimate tool for discretionary traders, meditation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.